Zilara and Vrieg were done, absolutely done with their own species males. The Glovaxian men were either too obsessed with flexing their long three-fingered arms or spent all day arguing about quantum nebula football. "Vrieg, I can't take it anymore," Zilara groaned, sipping a fizzy green beverage that would have melted most life forms' intestines. "We deserve better." Vrieg nodded. "I want a mate who doesn't measure his worth by how many asteroids he's licked." Thus began their intergalactic mate hunt. They scoured the cosmos, they met the Blorgans, who recited poetry exclusively through interpretive sneezing. The Flabanians, who considered romantic dinners an insult and preferred to duel with breadsticks. The Whitacs, who were technically attractive but reproduced via spores, and that was just too much. After 300 species, their hopes dwindled. "Maybe love just isn't for us," Vrieg sighed. Then fate intervened. Their sleek chrome spaceship was parked on Earth's moon when their scanners picked up an anomaly. A lone creature, neither tentacled nor blobby, moving with a strange rhythmic gait. They zoomed in. The creature was Brian Highworth. Brian was a simple man. He collected moon samples, enjoyed listening to music, and had exactly zero idea that two aliens were staring at him like he was the last slice of pizza in the universe. Vrieg and Zilara watched in fascination. "He moves with such confidence," Zilara whispered. "Look at his tiny functional appendages," Vrieg added, starry-eyed. "So efficient." Then Brian turned to leave. This was their moment. With synchronized precision, they pounced. Before Brian could even mutter, "Wait, what?" he was beamed up into their spaceship, held securely in a stasis pod. He banged on the glass. "Hey, I have things to do." That was not true. Brian was single, had no pets, no hobbies beyond collecting rocks, and his only emails were spam from a questionable fitness supplement website. The alien women, however, were thrilled. "This is it," Vrieg whispered, gazing at their prize. "This is what we've been searching for." Zilara nodded. "He's perfect. No weird antennae, no mucus-based mating rituals, just pure, awkward, confused majesty." Brian groaned, rubbing his face. "Ugh, this is going to be a thing, isn't it?" Zilara and Vrieg high-fived. As the ship zoomed away into deep space, Brian sighed. And thus, an old Earth saying proved true once more. Love finds you when you least expect it, and sometimes it abducts you. Intergalactic Mate Hunt, the sequel. Brian Highworth sat in a chair inside the alien spaceship, blinking at the two strange but oddly enthusiastic women staring at him. They had sleek blue skin, 4 fingers on each hand, and expressions that could only be described as wildly intrigued, yet increasingly exhausted. "So tell us, Brian of Earth," Zilara began, circling him. "What are your species' mating rituals?" Brian scratched his head. "Well, first you gotta set up a dating profile. Then you message people, wait for them to reply, and if you're lucky you get a date, but only if they don't ghost you. And even then you might spend the whole time talking about your exes or..." Vrieg's eyes glazed over. "Ghosts are involved." "No, not literal ghosts," Brian continued. "That's just when someone disappears without a word. Like this one time, I matched with a girl named Stephanie." Zilara grabbed a datapad. "He is still speaking. Make notes." Brian cracked his knuckles. "Oh, and don't get me started on online arguments. There was this time I got into a 45-comment debate about whether pineapple belongs on pizza. Vrieg held up a finger. "Hold! What is pizza?" Brian's face lit up. "Oh, now that's a story. It's this amazing food, cheese, sauce, toppings. You can have all sorts of varieties, like deep dish, thin crust, New York style." "Make it stop," Zilara muttered, rubbing her temples. Vrieg, now slumped over the interrogation table, whispered, "This was a mistake." Zilara gritted her teeth. "Fine. We move to phase 2. She pressed a button and a robotic arm descended, quickly extracting a sample of Brian's DNA. "Ow! What was that?" Brian yelped. "Standard DNA collection," Zilara said, reviewing the analysis. "It will tell us if your species is a viable mate for ours." The screen beeped. The results flashed. It read, "Incompatible. Warning, subject may talk forever." Vrieg and Zylara exchanged looks of sheer horror. I can't, Vrieg whispered. I thought I wanted a male who could communicate, but this is beyond comprehension. Zylara shuddered. Even the Blorgons weren't this bad, and they sneezed their feelings. Vrieg rubbed her temples. I thought I wanted a mate who could actually talk about his emotions, but this one won't stop talking. Brian, still rubbing his arm from the DNA extraction, smiled. Oh, hey, if you're interested in human emotions, I could explain the entire history of existential dread. It started with the ancient philosophers. No! Zylara slammed her hands on the table. We're done. Vrieg shot to her feet. Yes, we tried. But this species, this Brian, is too much. We must return him. Brian blinked. Wait, what? Before he could say another word, the aliens grabbed him, hauled him to the airlock, and with one swift motion, zap! Brian found himself back on the moon, right next to his collection of rock samples. His helmet reappeared just in time as the spaceship shot away at warp speed, leaving behind a glowing trail of absolute regret. Inside the ship, Vrieg slumped into a chair. That was close. We almost made the biggest mistake of our lives. Zylara nodded solemnly. Next time, let's just get a space cat. Back on the moon, Brian dusted himself off. He stared at the sky, shrugged and picked up his sample bag. Guess they didn't want to hear about my favorite podcasts. And thus, yet another old Earth saying proved true. Be careful what you wish for, especially if it's a man who overshares.